Hey, you guys, I just wanted to come up here really quick because I noticed I was really confused. All of these people were coming to my R. Kelly video and starting to comment in the comment section. And I just thought, man, that's so weird because, like, that R. Kelly video is really old. And if you watch the video I did on R. Kelly, it's not actually about R. Kelly at all. Hey, Rozzy. It's not actually about R. Kelly at all. It's about our labor secretary, Alex Acosta. And so in that video, all today I've been getting notifications from people leaving comments on my R. Kelly video as if I were caping for R. Kelly in that video, which they clearly didn't watch the video. So what I was saying in that video is that it was funny to me. Nobody's given two craps about R. Kelly until it came out that our labor secretary gave immunity to a man that was running a known child prostitution ring where a high amount of the children prostituted were Black. Now, the only ones they showed on TV were white, but they had a preference for going to countries with a high Black population and pimping out children. And so not only did Alex Acosta get Jeff Epstein off, he gave immunity to everybody who was even remotely connected to raping those kids. Governmental leaders, remember I told you that Epstein is really good friends with the Prince of England, okay? Like as in the Queen's family. And so I did that whole video to say I found it funny that as it was hitting the fan with Alex Acosta, nobody was talking about Alex Acosta and Jeff Epstein and their connection to royalty and billionaires and millionaires all over the planet who likes to have sex with children, specifically Black children. All of a sudden, they were very worried about R. Kelly. So anyway, all these people are like coming to my videos. Hi, Sharif. All these people are coming to my old R. Kelly video. Like I'm caping for R. Kelly when my point is that nobody cares what R. Kelly did. They just care about covering up Alex Acosta, our labor secretary, and Jeffrey Epstein's BS, right? Because if he goes down, all these rich people go down for raping all these Black kids. So lo and behold, people are coming to that video because R. Kelly just got indicted. He was just indicted. Now, y'all, I called it that there is an Alex Acosta R. Kelly connection, that whenever they want to try to hide what Alex Acosta did and the whole sex ring that Jeffrey Epstein was running that's connected to the British Crown, millionaires and billionaires in our country and around the globe, he was running a global child sex trafficking ring where everybody got immunity, not just him. Everybody. If you were having sex with the kids, you got immunity, whether we knew about you or not, for life. Nobody can ever be convicted for raping any of those kids. Now, what's interesting is that yesterday, Acosta came forward and basically blamed the children. Blamed the children for him not convicting that man and every child rapist that was in cahoots with him. And then 24 hours later, R. Kelly gets indicted. Like, I cannot with this mess. I'm not caping for R. Kelly. I'm just saying that R. Kelly is the more popular of the two, the more well-known of the two people. And it's just amazing to me every time something hits the fan with our freaking labor secretary, who today is resigning, y'all. He's resigning today. All of a sudden, there's big waves in the R. Kelly case that nobody has cared about for over a decade. That's all that I was saying, is that they're just using R. Kelly to distract from Acosta and Epstein and the British Crown and all of these white people who like having sex with Black children. Like, straight up, that's legit what's going on. And if you don't know the history of that, I cover it in that R. Kelly video. I'm not going to go into it here. Right, sweet. That's what they do. They blame the victims. Well, that's what he did in his press conference. He was like, well, the victims, they didn't want to talk about what happened to them and this and that. No, fool, you went and had breakfast with the lawyer of Epstein to talk about what kind of deal you were going to give his clients and all of these rich white people, including the British Crown, y'all, so that nobody who was having sex with these children in a worldwide known sex trafficking ring where they know that they were doing it. This is not even a question that it happened. It definitely happened. Nobody denies that. Everybody involved got immunity for life, not just Epstein. Every rapist, every person that helped to recruit children, everybody got immunity for life. So my whole point for those people who are coming under my R. Kelly video but not watching the video is that these white people don't care about R. Kelly. But it is funny to me, and I called it months ago, that every time something about our labor secretary, because peep it, our labor secretary is in control over human trafficking in this country. Let me repeat that. Our labor secretary, Alex Acosta, who helped cover up a global sex trafficking ring where Black children were the primary targets. I know on television they showed 4 white girls, but if you go into the story, the countries these people like to get kids from were countries with high Black populations. Our labor secretary, who is over human trafficking in this country, is the same man who cut a deal for Jeffrey Epstein and countless other billionaires and millionaires, including those members of the British Crown who were having sex with our children, Black children. I'm sure they had sex with other kind of kids too, but their targets, mainly the countries they like, have a high Black population. And he is in charge of human trafficking in this country. And this man has been sliding under the radar forever. And nobody has given 2 craps about anything R. Kelly did until it came out that Acosta, who is connected to Jeffrey Epstein, who is connected to every person in Hollywood, the British Crown, every billionaire on the planet, this man is chummy with. Just Google him. You can see him basically with every world leader because they all are having sex with kids. He was running a child sex trafficking ring for years. That he was being investigated forever. He wasn't supposed to get arrested. And Acosta made sure to cut him and everybody involved a lifetime immunity deal. So when this came out, because they kept it under the radar, because this happened a long time ago, but they kept it under the radar, all of a sudden what was going on with R. Kelly mattered to white people. These people have really not given 2 craps about what R. Kelly has done for a decade. Now, all of a sudden, R. Kelly is so popular and it's so important to convict him. I'm not saying that man's not nasty. I'm just saying that he was used because of his notoriety and his fame as a distraction from what was going on with Acosta. And I called this months ago. I made a whole video about this months ago. I just called it out. I said, nobody really cares about R. Kelly. They're just trying to play, you know how you make a loud noise to somebody's left so that they don't see you robbing their house on the right? It was one of those moves. It was a distraction to keep us from a worldwide pedophile ring that world leaders and rich people are highly involved in. It was a complete distraction. Because Jeffrey Epstein and the rich people that run with him were raping way more Black kids. They were doing way more throughout the whole earth than R. Kelly could ever hope to try to do. So I don't want you guys coming under my old R. Kelly video as if I'm saying R. Kelly's not wrong. No, I'm not saying he's not wrong, but you can see that I am right because R. Kelly just got indicted on the heels of Acosta's press conference. And while everybody's talking about the R. Kelly indictment, you know what people are not talking about? The fact that our labor secretary just resigned today. He resigned. And he needs to resign because what kind of sicko needs to be over human trafficking in our country when we know that he is in cahoots with a man who ran a worldwide sex trafficking ring? that targeted Black people. So I'm not like, this isn't going to be, hi, Darafil. Hi, Sweet D. I agree as far as wanting them both off the streets. But what I also want to do is I want to be clear that we have to keep focused, right? We have to keep focused on the fact that R. Kelly is a small fish with a lot of public notoriety who is being used to distract from a bunch of rich white people having sex with hundreds upon hundreds of Black children all over the world. I'm not saying R. Kelly doesn't need to be off the streets or he doesn't need to be punished. I'm just saying don't be distracted. You think it's a coincidence that I said that they were using R. Kelly to distract from Acosta? And as soon as Acosta has a press conference and then resigns, all of a sudden R. Kelly is getting indicted the same day? You don't think that's just, and then which one is taking the top news? R. Kelly is taking the top news. I'm just saying they're distracted because they have to protect their own. Don't forget that all these rich people, not just Epstein, not just the man that was running the sex trafficking ring, but all these wealthy white people who were having sex with these little kids, they got immunity for life too. And Epstein is out free and clear with immunity, and there can be no double jeopardy. So what do you think Epstein is doing now? What do you think he's out there doing? Because he got a plea deal. You know, when you get a plea deal, that means that there's actually a ruling. And there's no double jeopardy. And he has lifetime immunity, and so do all the other people that were having sex with children. So what do you think they're doing right now? Like, what are the implications of this? And they want to distract us with R. Kelly. Look, R. Kelly, he's got his issues. He needs to be dealt with. But let's be clear. Nobody actually cares about him. These white people don't care about him. They're not coming for him. They're using him as a distraction. Like, it's not a coincidence that I'm not Epstein, but that our labor secretary Acosta did a press conference yesterday, resigned today, and then R. Kelly gets indicted. And then that's the big news on the block is about R. Kelly. Because I had to figure out, why are all these people coming under this old R. Kelly video? And honestly, I wasn't going to talk about Acosta because I watched his little press conference. You know, I don't make a video about everything, right? I watched his little funky press conference, noted that he tried to blame the children that were getting raped for him giving a plea deal to countless child rapists across the globe. Because it wasn't just Epstein he gave a plea deal to. He gave the plea deal to all of them. Even the ones they didn't know about got a plea deal. I've never even heard of anything like that. Have you heard of anything like that? That not just the criminals you know about have immunity, but the ones you don't know about get immunity too? Like, we don't even know that you did this, but if it comes up that you did it, you've got immunity from conviction. Like, that is insane. That's like unheard of in life. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible to give people immunity for things before you even knew they were involved. Like, is that a thing? Has anybody else heard of that? So I just found this R. Kelly indictment hilarious. Like, I'm like, this is so funny. Because, like I said, it's the R. Kelly Acosta connection. It's the connection between the two. They're using R. Kelly as a smokescreen to the bigger issue because Acosta is connected with everybody. The Clintons, who we know are into Pizzagate, right? Acosta is connected to the president. Acosta is connected to the Queen of England. He's connected to everybody. And Epstein is friends, the one that he gave the plea deal to. Epstein is friends with all these people. They've all come to his house. And you know what they do at his house? According to the investigation, they have sex with children. And this isn't allegedly. This is like, they do have sex with children. There's no allegedly here. That's why he got a plea deal. They had the evidence to convict him. It's not a question of what him and the rich people that he dealt with were doing. We can only guess how many wealthy people were involved. He rubbed shoulders with billionaires. But R. Kelly is going to be our focus. Every time Epstein and Acosta's names come up, all of a sudden there's a new huge thing that happens with the R. Kelly case. Whole flippin' documentary about R. Kelly. Meanwhile, nobody's talking about Acosta and Epstein and the Queen and the royal family of England and the Clintons and all these people that rolled with him. All the pedophiles. Nobody's talking about that. We're gonna just gloss over that. And the fact that they prefer black kids. We're gonna ignore all of those things. Because R. Kelly got indicted? I mean, I just don't think so. Hi, Kylo. So I just wanted, like, I didn't want to stay on here super long, but so many of you guys, maybe not the people in the chat, but so many people who clearly watch my videos were coming under my R. Kelly video today because they didn't watch the video and they must have thought I was caping for R. Kelly. And I wasn't. I wasn't saying R. Kelly isn't guilty. What I was saying is that R. His case has been strategically handled to cover up a larger issue. The fact that anybody's even coming to me, talking to me about R. Kelly without mentioning Acosta and Jeffrey Epstein and the Queen and her relatives and the Clintons and all these people that are hanging out with Epstein, the man who runs a child pedophilia, sex trafficking ring all over the earth in multiple countries. That's just funny to me. That means that their indoctrination and their conditioning and their smokescreen is working. Because we can talk about both things, but I'm not about to talk about R. Kelly and pretend that our labor secretary legit just didn't resign today. I'm not about to talk about R. Kelly and pretend that our labor secretary legit just gave a press conference yesterday and blamed the children that were getting raped for him giving immunity to billionaires and millionaires and political figures all over the world who are raping children in this country and abroad. Like, I'm not about to discuss R. Kelly and ignore all that. Like, we could talk about R. Kelly, but we're definitely going to talk about this other thing, that every time something major happens with R. Kelly, on the back end of it, hidden in the backdrop, Acosta and the current administration are trying to clean up and re-hide, because remember, all this stuff happened a while ago. They're trying to rebury this situation. We have to talk about it all. And that's all that I'm saying. So for those of you who go back and watch that R. Kelly video, please do not come in the comment section and make it about R. Kelly. Please do not do that. They could throw R. Kelly under the jail for all I care. It's nothing to me. What does matter to me, though, is they could have dealt with R. Kelly at any time. I'm going to need them to stop strategically dragging R. Kelly every time Acosta and Epstein come up. That's what I'm going to need them to do. I'm going to need them to stop strategically dragging R. Kelly every time we want to talk about these rich white people having sex with black children. All over the world. All of a sudden, R. Kelly becomes super important when you want to cover up some stuff you guys are doing. He was never important prior to this. He didn't deserve a documentary prior to this. Nobody was worried about those little girls he has up in his house prior to this. Now, all of a sudden, every time Acosta does something out of pocket that brings attention to their worldwide sex trafficking ring, they throw R. Kelly under the bus. Now, I'm not caping for R. Kelly. I don't care what happens to that man. He obviously has some issues. But what I'm not going to let happen is for us to be distracted from hundreds, at least hundreds, possibly thousands of white people having sex with black kids all over the earth and being given immunity for life. That's what we're not going to do. No, we're not going to do that part. That's where I'm going to have to draw the line. Like we're definitely going to talk about both things because of the fact that they keep using R. Kelly to be a smokescreen for this huge global sex trafficking ring that involves our politicians and royalty and rich people all over the place who have a preference for black children, who like to put their adult penises in little black boys and little black girls more than anybody. I mean, just go look at a lot of these files are public. I think I might have cited some of the resources in my R. Kelly video. So I just don't want us to get so caught up in what's happening to R. Kelly because we like his music and he's famous, where we completely ignore a serious problem, which is that these people are running frickin' amok. How is he the labor secretary? How is a man who covered up an entire worldwide sex trafficking ring and gave immunity to everybody who was investigated and proven to have raped and trafficked children all over the world? How is that fool in charge of the Labor Department? Especially when the Labor Department determines the human trafficking laws in America. You want to know where all these missing black girls and boys are? Go talk to Acosta, the man who's in charge of you being able to traffic them. The man who resigned today, but nobody's talking about because they want to talk about flipping R. Kelly. I don't give two craps about R. Kelly. I give two craps about the fact that the system is so corrupt. And this is why I say that we need to see a retrofit. These people don't deserve to be in office. The system is so corrupt that Jeffrey Epstein was able to run a sex trafficking ring throughout multiple countries with rich people. He was able to hobnob with former and current presidents. He was able to hang out with the British crown and provide babies to everybody who wanted some child, penis or vagina, and then give immunity to everyone across the world who was having sex with these kids for life, and then mosey his little funky way up into the White House and become the labor secretary. I have a problem with that. I don't even care about R. Kelly. Do whatever the hell you want to do with R. Kelly. He is irrelevant to me. This is a far more relevant topic. And I'm going to need us to break away from the TV and not let them be the determiner of what we think is important news and what is not important news. Why are we letting them dictate what we're going to focus on? They want us to focus on the minor leagues. No, I want to focus on this major stuff. How is he even Secretary of Labor? I want to focus on this press conference he gave yesterday where he was on some BS. Like I said, I listened to the press conference. I didn't come on YouTube and talk about it. But maybe I should have, considering the fact that, timing is everything. Like God has his own timing. Because when I saw everybody coming up under my R. Kelly video whining about R. Kelly and saw he got indicted, the first thing that came in my mind was the press conference that Acosta gave. And the fact that he just resigned today. The first thing that came in my mind was that child sex trafficking ring in the Clintons and the British royal crown. And our current sitting president, who's friends with Epstein too. I'm just saying. The first thing that came to my mind were black children on multiple continents who have been being raped and continue to be raped because everybody involved has immunity for life. Even the people we don't know about, that they didn't know were involved, they have immunity for life too. I don't care about R. Kelly. I care about that. I don't care what happens to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is irrelevant to me. After he peed on that little girl, I stopped listening to his music. I don't care how well that man can sing. Everybody else is still on R. Kelly. I legitly got off R. Kelly and was repulsed by him and disgusted that he didn't get thrown under the jail a decade ago. I'm concerned about this other stuff. I'm concerned about these people who are able to, with impunity, go about the earth and have sex with children, thanks to our Secretary of Labor. Let's talk about that. If we're going to have a conversation, and stop letting these white people distract us with the one black guy who's fucked up bad enough and has enough popularity to cover up what hundreds of white people are doing to black children. Let's do that. Let's walk and chew gum at the same time, y'all, please. He became the secretary under our current president because he's friends with our current president. But make no mistake, he's friends with the Clintons too. All you have to do is a quick Google search. You can see everybody this man hobnobs with. All these people are having sex with little kids. And I'm not just saying that, y'all. Go read the official documents. This is recorded. There was a whole investigation. There's no question. But they all have immunity. They cannot be prosecuted, thanks to our labor secretary. So Mr. Granger, he got his job under Trump. But he's been weaseling his way around the political arena for a while. This is not a partisan issue because he kicks it with the Democrats as well as the Republicans. He's friends of every man, woman that wants to have sex with a child. And if there's something these rich white people love, it's child genitalia. So anyway, I'm not gonna like that. This is where I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna reiterate this again. Please stop coming under my R. Kelly video for those people who have not already seen it and even remotely think I'm caping for R. Kelly. I don't care about R. Kelly. Like I said, they can throw that man under the jail. They can set him on fire. I don't care. What I care about is the manipulation where they had no problem with what R. Kelly was doing. But when it came time to cover up for white billionaires and millionaires and politicians, all of a sudden they want to use R. Kelly to cover up what they are doing. And I refuse for him to be used like that pervert that he is. No, we're gonna keep our eye on you white people too. Let's be clear. We're gonna keep our eye on you rich white people running around having sex with black children and then giving each other immunity for life. And then making the people that cut the deal Secretary of frickin' State of the United States. Putting these people in the White House. We're gonna keep our eye on that too. We're not gonna be distracted on some petty conversation about R. Kelly. Do whatever you got to do with him, but you know what? We're not going to not pay attention to this really, really major, unheard of type stuff. Some out of the movie stuff. A full-on sex trafficker hanging out with the British royal crown and multiple US presidents type stuff. Rubbing elbows with everybody in Hollywood who has a taste for child genitalia. And then the man that lets them all go free is sitting up in the White House. We're not going to ignore that. Like, we got to pay attention to that. R. Kelly is not as important as that. Now, they might try to distract a whole lot of people, but me personally, I'm not about to be distracted by that stuff. Look, every time a black person gets a prominent space in white-controlled media, I am going to investigate what they are hiding. Because they don't have anything about us that they feel is important. The only time they put a black person on Front Street is when they're trying to hide some of their own fuckery. I promise you. Each and every time without fail. The only time they're waving a black person around is to manipulate and distract. They don't care about us or what goes on in our community. They don't care what we do to each other. Trust and believe. And this situation is no different. This situation is no different. So the next time somebody brings up R. Kelly to one of you guys, point the finger at our labor secretary. Point the finger at the Clintons. Point the finger at Epstein. Point the finger at Trump. and the British royal crown and say R. Kelly is just a distraction from the fact that these people got caught having sex with babies all over the planet. And then our labor secretary gave them all immunity for life. All of them. Immunity for life. So they can go about the world still having sex with children. Epstein can keep his sex trafficking ring open because they can't convict him twice. Just think about that. And frickin' Acosta was sitting up in the White House as the labor secretary. Like, I'll be damned. I've never heard of things so crazy. I've never heard of people getting immunity when you don't even know if they were involved. Like, if we find out you were having sex with kids 10 years from now, don't worry, you've got immunity too. If your name didn't come up in the original investigation, don't worry, you've got immunity too. That's what our labor secretary, Acosta, was doing. And this fool gave a press conference yesterday and resigned today, and people want to talk about R. Kelly. Like, I refuse. I absolutely flippin' refuse. Like, no disrespect, I just refuse to do it. I refuse to talk about R. Kelly. Because nobody cares about R. Kelly. They're just throwing him out there because this fool gave a press conference and made himself look so dumb he had to resign this morning. And then R. Kelly gets indicted. No, that's not a coincidence. Trust me, he wasn't thinking about resigning yesterday when he gave that press conference, looking freaking stupid. But he did such a bad job in that press conference. That's how you know this man is sick in the head. How are you going to give a press conference and blame the children? What the hell? He had no choice but to resign this morning. He woke up this morning. The news had to drag him because nobody could justify that press conference. Acosta, he must have been high off of multiple drugs when he gave that press conference. He had no choice but to resign this morning. I guarantee you he was not thinking about resigning yesterday or he wouldn't have given the press conference. But he did such a bad job because there's really no way to explain covering up a worldwide sex trafficking ring that involves multiple billionaires and politicians and royalty. There's no way to justify that. You can't. He was better off not giving the press conference. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody do. He had no choice but to resign this morning. What else was he going to do but resign? What else was he going to do? I ask you. And I have people wanting to discuss R. Kelly with me. Like, it'll be a cold day in hell. The Republic Tea Room said R. Kelly was raping and trafficking too. Okay, let's be clear. What R. Kelly was doing is nothing compared to a global sex trafficking ring that royalty, politicians, former and current presidents, half of Hollywood, and every billionaire on earth having sex with children. These things are on two totally different levels. This is like you stole a car and I took over a country. And then we're trying to compare apples to apples. Well, you both stole something? Nah, fool. No. Mm-mm. I stole a car. You stole a whole country. These things are not equal. Are they both stealing? Yes. Are they the same? No. They're not the same. That's what we're not going to do. That's me punching you in the face and somebody else chopping off your legs. We both harmed you, though. No, fool, you chopped off my legs. These things are not on the same level. Two totally different levels. R. Kelly is playing in a sandbox compared to what Epstein, Acosta, the Clintons, the British royal crown, half of Hollywood, and all these billionaires were doing. Like, these two things are on two totally different levels. Also note that R. Kelly doesn't have immunity for life like these white people do. I'm not slanting it with race. The people who are involved are the color that they are. I'm not changing their skin color. That's what I'm not doing. I'm not changing their skin color. Let's be clear. The fact that all these people are white is something I have no control over. I can't control that Epstein is a white Jew. I can't control that the Clintons are white. I can't control that Trump is white. And I don't even mind Trump. I do mind his little relationship with Acosta, though. I can't help that Acosta is white. I can't help that the British Royal Crown are white. I can't help that most of the billionaires and millionaires involved in this sex trafficking ring were white. I cannot help that. That's not me slanting it with race. They are all white. That's like a fact. And R. Kelly is black. That's a fact. So I'm not trying to slant it with race. I have to be free to state facts. Do I not? I do have to be free to state facts. I think that that's important. Like, we can be intellectually honest. It may not make us comfortable. It may be uncomfortable, the reality of the thing, but it, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to make this a partisan issue, though, because Acosta and Epstein hang out with the Clintons as much as they do Trump. So there you go. It's a bipartisan fuckery. Okay, it's a bipartisan stupidity. It's bipartisan debauchery. When Democrats and Republicans come together to rape children, and European royalty joins in. I mean, this thing is universal. They can't get together to pass a dang law, but they'll sure get together to have sex with children. Those are facts. You state them as well? Well, dope. The Republican tea room will probably agree on a lot of things because I'm very conservative leaning. But at the same time, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Have I always discussed Epstein? I mean, the first time I spoke on this issue, I brought up Epstein. I did. It's a known fact to me that white people who are rich like to have sex with children. We only have to go to Thailand to see it. Who goes into places like Thailand the most to engage in child sex? White people. See, what I don't want to do is don't turn on me and say that I'm trying to rile people up with race by stating a fact. Let's be clear, Europe has the highest child sexual abuse rates in the world. That's a fact. It's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's not me trying to rile people up with race. If some things are true and the people engaged in it happen to be a certain color, that's not me riling people up by stating the facts. The facts of the matter. The fact of the matter is, every time Epstein hits the news and Acosta hits the news, all of a sudden, R. Kelly, who nobody has cared about, becomes important. That's a fact. Like, literally the same thing. I mean, unless these are just coincidences. Like I said, I called this out the first times it went down, I called it out. Now we're seeing it happen again. Now, I'll give you Republican tea room, and I'll have you know I really like tea in this house. Tea is delicious. Just side note. But I mean, it's just one hell of a coincidence, even if I give you that it's a coincidence. Yeah, I don't care what happens to R. Kelly either, Darnell. They could set him on fire. I don't care what they do to that man. I could care less what they do to that man. Yeah, let's not attack Republican tea room. What I don't want to happen, and this is kind of what I'm trying to say to you too, Republican tea room, is that we're not going to fight amongst each other for their behavior. R. Kelly is a sicko. We're not about to debate each other if they decide to set him on fire. Acosta, Epstein, Trump, the Clintons, the British royal crown, and every other billionaire and millionaire who was rolling with Epstein have a problem. Because there's no way this man is trafficking children all over the world and you guys are oblivious, but you're all hanging out together at his house, where they bring the kids for people to have sex with them. We're not going to be infighting amongst Black people over these people. That's what I don't want to have happen. See, we have a way of every time, something involves white people that we feel the need to defend them and start fighting each other. And that's what I don't want to have happen here. Now, we can agree to disagree. We can, agree that maybe my delivery methods are amazing or my delivery methods are horrible. But what we don't want to do is we're not going to infight with each other, not over these people. Not over a bunch of pedophiles. Let's not. Okay? Let us not turn on each other because of pedophiles. Because I think one thing we all can agree on is that everybody involved is trash. Can we not all agree on that? Can we come together on that? That if you're having sex with children, you're trash. Just period. Well, Republican Tea Room, we don't know what Trump did or didn't. Like I said, Trump and the Clintons are both, and have been for many years, since you've been following this for years, are both close friends with Epstein. And this man, they have hung out at his home, and from the investigation, and you know this to be true, Republican Tea Room, if you were really looking at this for years, you know that I'm not lying. His home is where they would bring children on a regular basis, several times a day, for people to have sex with them. These are facts. So I cannot prove nor disprove what anybody did. I'm just going to say if a man is running a global sex trafficking ring on multiple countries and you're hanging out with him at his house, and the investigation shows that several times a day, children would come to his house for adults to have sex with them, that perhaps you had to know something about it. It just seems feasible to me. So we cannot defend nor absolve anybody who was hanging with Epstein of child sex, because Epstein was way too deep in that mess for us to really know for sure who was and who was not over at his house having sex with these kids. Let's agree with that, because we aren't in Trump's bedroom. We're not in the Clintons' bedroom. But we know what Epstein did because the investigation is clear on what he did. So we can speak to that, and we can say that it's highly questionable to be hanging out at a man's house when an investigation shows that he brings children into his house almost daily for adults to have sex with them. These are facts. It's just a fact. I'm like not making this up. This is what the investigation showed. Like, y'all can go, feel free to read it yourself. Like, a lot of this stuff is open for the public to read. We don't even have to debate about it. So we don't know what people do or don't do in their bedrooms. But I'm gonna know this. I personally am not going to be hanging out with somebody who brings little kids to their house to have sex with adults several times a day. I personally would find it hecka sketch to hang out with somebody who is going across the globe on multiple continents and arranging for sex between adults and children. Me personally, that's not going to be my homeboy, but everybody has their own standards. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own standards. I agree with the Republican Tea Room. We should not turn each other against Black pedophiles either. That's legit what I said too. We're not going to fight over R. Kelly either. They could set him on fire. I don't care. I don't care what they do to R. Kelly. It's completely irrelevant to me. Black where? Black who? Don't care. So we can agree there. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to stay on. I didn't even plan to do this live, but I just got sick of responding to comments on that R. Kelly video. I was like, if you people don't watch this video, it's not about R. Kelly, because I don't care about R. Kelly. Okay. I just put R. Kelly's name in the title because I noticed that they were using him as bait. You know what I'm saying? I was just pointing out that R. Kelly was being used as bait to have you distracted and your mouth and your taste buds on something else when a bigger issue was afoot. So I wanted to just come and kind of just, refresh our memory, because R. Kelly got indicted today. But I wanted to bring up the other thing that happened, that Acosta resigned today, that yesterday he did a press conference looking a flipping fool. That if we're going to start talking about pedophiles, let's talk about all these billionaire, millionaire, and politician pedophiles. These British royalty pedophiles. Let's talk about Epstein. Let's talk about Acosta being a labor secretary who's in charge of human trafficking in the United States. Let's talk about this. We have little black kids, missing left and right. I mean, we could have a whole this conversation go a lot of directions, but we're not going to go there. We could talk about Flanagan in the Midwest, how Father Flanagan built all these institutions and they were raping kids, and like he's still big crap in the Midwest. I mean, we could take this a lot of places. All I'm saying is that let us not be distracted. The media has a way of presenting things so that our eye and our conversation is not on some bigger issues. They could throw R. Kelly under the jail for all I care. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to discuss R. Kelly and completely ignore what's going on with Acosta. I'm never going to let them sweep that under the rug. I'm not going to ignore that press conference. I'm not going to ignore his resignation. I'm not going to ignore Epstein and every child rapist associated with him, known and unknown, getting immunity for life. I'm just not going to do it. Bey, Jay-Z, and Rihanna too. I don't even, you know what? I don't even care anything about celebrities like that. I feel we give celebrities too much like attention. We need to just sidestep all this media stuff like altogether. Just get our heads out of media. The music, the news, the paper, like all that. Until we can look at this stuff with a critical eye and not base our thoughts and our feelings and our ideologies and what we like and dislike off of what they're portraying there, because it's all propaganda. Well, Republic Tea Room, Americans may not stand for immunity for life, but that's what they have. And I don't hear anybody talking about overturning it. I mean, not only do they have immunity for life, even the people that they didn't catch in the investigation have immunity. The unknown people. Like, this stuff is crazy. And they've had immunity for a while now. Like, as you pointed out, this all happened years ago. It's only coming to the forefront because somebody outed it. Because, Acosta weaseled his way in and became, Secretary of Labor, and nobody was discussing this. So I hope that you're right, that Americans won't stand for immunity for life, because these people should be in jail. I'm going to need these immunities to be snatched. I don't even understand how you pass out a deal like that. That's crazy to me. I've never heard of such a thing. How do you get caught red-handed committing a crime, and then you and everybody that committed the crime with you, whether we caught them or not, gets immunity for life? I mean, I've never. That's amazing to me. That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. All right, well, we'll wait and see. And I hope that you're right. And the minute you're right, you come and you rub it all up in my face, girl. I'm not even going to be mad at you. I'm going to be giving you all the props because I hope that you're right. I hope Americans will not stand for immunity for life. I hope we seriously push that these immunities be snatched and everybody go to jail. But I don't really feel that's going to happen because Epstein was connected to so many wealthy people. Like I said, when you're friends with royalty and presidents, like multiple presidents, not just Trump. Epstein was friends with multiple presidents. When you're dealing with that many people in power, I mean, you have a lot of faith. even if we didn't stand for it, you know, the government doesn't move in the ways that we want them to move. The government, they're doing what the hell they want to do. These people are legit just doing whatever they feel like doing. I'm starting to think the government and what they do, and you know, they're not doing what the people want them to do. They are legitimately just up in Washington doing whatever they want to do, completely and everything that they want to do, with no sort of regard for what people want at all. The only time they want to listen to some people is if they're gay or they're on some weird stuff. You have to be a far, far off in the left, dark corner of the room, liberal, to even get anybody in Washington to remotely hear what you have to say. Otherwise, they're legit just doing whatever they want. So with that said, right, the Marriott or the Hampton, exactly. Really. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, you guys. But like I said, please let's not be distracted by the R. Kelly situation. Let's keep focused. R. Kelly is the small fish in this pond right now. Acosta, our labor secretary, and all that he's been doing for multiple years, and everybody he's involved with, those are the big fish. And I just don't want us to get distracted. I mean, I know R. Kelly's Black. I know a lot of us, you know, listen to his music back in the day. We know him better. A lot of us don't even know who the labor secretary is, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is that let us not be distracted by the popular kid when we have a much bigger problem afoot. Like, let them do whatever they want to R. Kelly. We've noted it. You know what I mean? Lock him up for life. I don't care. But let's go ahead and let's keep focused on these people are running amok. All right. And we need to check them. Like, I don't know what's going on. We're legit just, I mean, what can't they do at this point? That's my question. Like, you get caught stealing a piece of bubble gum, you're going to jail. These people are all out just raping children in the open. Victims coming out giving interviews, you know what I'm saying? Whole investigations done, solid evidence, multiple countries. Like, these people should be in jail in multiple countries. And they are all just walking around free, and it's all thanks to our labor secretary. Let's not lose sight of that. And mark, like I said, Google him, Google Epstein, and mark every single wealthy person in Hollywood, in politics, that is royalty, that he has dealt with over the years. Mark them, because I guarantee you all those people are a problem. Every last one of them are a problem, and we should know who they are. And if Republican Tea Room is right, we will see a lot of those people in jail. Because you weren't hanging with a sicko like Epstein, and that's not your flow. We're just not out here hanging out with people who are drunkards and do all kinds of drugs, and we never took a little sniff ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not just hanging out with complete prostitutes all day, every day, and you never sold or bought any vagina. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things that people aren't going to be doing on the regular. You know how they say birds of a feather? There's some groups of people, you know, we're not all just going to be hanging out at a pedophile's house, being buddy with a pedophile who's running a sex trafficking ring for decades. We just been friends since we were back in our 20s. And I don't have a taste for children. Like, these things are not happening. That's my opinion. Okay, maybe you feel differently. Maybe you feel differently. But we will see. I hope, Republic Tea Room, that you get your way. I hope you're right, that Americans really stand up against this, and we call for these people to be in jail. That would be the best thing that can happen. That I would literally be blown flipping away. I would be near ecstatic. But time will have to tell on that. Right now, what we have is Acosta's resignation. But I want to know how much damage Acosta did while he was over human trafficking in the United States, since we know he doesn't care about people getting trafficked. How many blind eyes did Acosta turn to human trafficking when he was labor secretary? Since his job is to prevent it. But we know that that's not what he does, because we know he lets human traffickers walk. I mean, that's just some food for thought. So yeah, let me get out of here, you guys, because I could literally rant about this. You know, I love children. Like I love children. I feel it's so important for us to protect them. I've done multiple videos about child sexual abuse of both boys and girls in the Black community. And so I could literally rant on about this forever because I feel like once you have sex with a child, you need to die. That's my personal opinion. I don't think you can be redeemed from that. I don't think there's enough therapy, drugs, jail. I just don't think you can be fixed from that. I think once you cross certain barriers, you cannot come back from that. And we can't just have you walking around in the world free to be who you want to be. Like that's not going to work, in my opinion. But you know, everybody doesn't think like me. Like we all have our own opinions. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. I'm sorry to do the pop-up live, but I will talk to you guys later, all right?